All right, my next guest, Joe Sigona, performance coach extraordinaire. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good, man. How are you?
Good. Question is, what's the difference between a performance coach and a personal trainer? What are the biggest differences?
I mean, there's not really big differences, but I guess it's just how you label yourself more as like a specialist.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I specialize more in like men's health coaching, men's performance coaching, like really knowing the ins and outs of optimizing your brain, optimizing your body.
Mm-hmm.
Personal trainer is like, it's just a general term, right?
Sure.
I mean, I still introduce myself as personal trainer, but like, it's like once you get beneath the skin and start to dive a little bit deeper into individuals and individuals' needs, in this case, like it being men, you can kind of just specialize and really like cornerstone yourself. So
there's a lot more to it than just go and lift weights, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole, your diet, your mental health. That's the kind of stuff you focus on, correct?
Yeah. Like kind of just like transforming the body from the inside out. Like the physical things are very, that's what you see, but like you really can't see what's going on the inside. So I think for a man to make like a real transformation, and for me personally make a transformation over the years, it really had to start on the inside, because people like they might see a young, strong, like good looking man, but like on the inside, like things could be way different. So I think, especially in the stigma around, men's health, men's mental health, it's important to like bring those topics up. Like, yeah, we're here to like work hard.
Yeah.
Throw some weights around in the weight room and like get a good sweat in, like we're all for that. But like, can you like take a step back and like drop your ego a little bit and like really like open up some of these conversations that men need to have?
Yeah. You had a big transformation, correct?
Yeah. I mean, internally and then, externally. But like, I think my transformation really came post-college. It was like a time where like many young 20-year-olds, you're lost. Like you don't really know what's going on and how to get into the world and how to be an adult. And you're kind of just learning from, you're learning from people that you pass down. I was fortunate enough, I stumbled across, fitness, and I stumbled across like some really good fitness mentors.
Yeah.
Podcast actually was a really big help.
Okay, cool.
Because, I don't really come from a place that this stuff's talked about, like self-improvement and, how to change your mindset kind of thing. But, I wasn't like a crazy athlete or anything. I wasn't like stud, frat star or anything like that in college. It was just like more so stumbling upon it, and it like had a calling to me.
Really?
And after finding fitness and the weight room, and I wanted to pursue becoming a coach. I was like, I think like this is what I want to do. Like I find it interesting, like all the X's and O's, the sciences behind it. And I was like, I'm going to commit to this. Like I'm going to commit like my life to like helping people, making people better. Like I didn't know how I was going to help people at the time, right? Because I had never helped anybody before, but I was just like, let me just do this. Let me get a personal training certification. Let me go down this route and study and learn. And here we are, like, I'll say like 6-7 years later. And I've got my career here in Miami now. So
very cool.
It's going pretty well, I think.
Cool. So what kind of people do you coach?
Very, very general population, like moms, dads, people just looking to optimize their performance. Like, I've worked with college athletes in the past. I've worked with, athletes of a pretty high caliber. So like, it's good to see that kind of thing. But most people they're just general. They need to move a little bit more.
Yeah.
They need to strength train a little bit more, do a little bit more cardiovascular training, eat a little bit healthier. And I think like that's important to know, is like the simplest of things can be, broken down for everybody. I think like where we get into the weeds and things is like, you just see so many like complicated exercises out there. Like see a guy doing like a Bosu ball, like handstand split, and you're like, damn, like that's a different level of fitness. And you don't really know like what training that guy went through or anything like that, but you're kind of like just seeing so much out there. And I like, for my people, like just simplify it as best as possible to get them the best results, because they're busy people at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
They're like me, they're like you, they have families, businesses, they have other obligations, and fitness is a lifelong game too. So I like to hammer that message home when anybody works with me,
All right, what's more important, the diet? You get to pick one, diet or working out. What would you pick?
Like I couldn't do the other one.
You couldn't do the other one,
like ever again. Like I can't even do the other one.
Yeah, moderate,
like
man,
a little
moderate.
bit.
You can walk.
Okay, I can walk.
And on the diet side, every once in a while you get a little cheat.
You get some greens.
Yeah.
You
get to pick one.
I would probably go diet because it's important what goes into your body because that's like what's linked to, all the underlying health issues. And this goes back to like my point before, like somebody on the outside could look really healthy, but on the inside, if they're taking all these, these additives or they're eating all these really crap foods, it's like, you don't know what how their organs are operating.
Yeah.
Like you don't know how healthy their heart is, how healthy their liver is. So I would go with diet because it's even more important to what you're putting into your body. Especially diet's important for mental and physical health. So
it's crazy. You and I were talking before the NIH came out with a report, and it's sort of a children's health, and it has that's those stupid pyramids that we know that are bogus after all these years. But it had the Cheerios. They were healthier than a fried egg.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're either lying, which they are, or you're the dumbest person in the world if you believe that, right?
Right.
So there is a bit of propaganda out there that they don't tell us the truth.
Yeah.
But there is, think for yourself. Like, do you really believe that this processed sugar cereal is better for you than an egg that's been around millions of years and people have been eating it for millions of years? Like, there's so much bogus info out there. And people like to immediately go after sort of, the bro science or whatever. And there's plenty of it that's bogus. But our institutions are lying to us. I mean, when's the last time you went to a doctor and they sat down with you and talked to you about nutrition?
Never. It's
crazy.
That's actually a really good point. Not saying like I'm against doctors, but I just haven't
I'm not either.
Been to a doctor because like those are the reasons. Like they,
a lot of them don't have the training.
A lot of them don't have the training. They're there. They have an agenda, right? Like see as many people as you can.
100%.
Again, I don't have anything against doctors, but like it's becoming a point where like you have to go almost out of network to get that kind of treatment you really want. Like really get like blood panels. Like it's hard for somebody to know so much about you in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of the reason I'm going to kind of like bring this back to my family. I think a big part of the reason why I'm in fitness is because my whole life I watched my family struggle with their health. Like my dad, like even my mom a little bit, but like just my dad being in and out of doctors, heavily medicated, like never really got the help he needs. Right. And love him to death. Right. But unfortunately he's at the end of like his, like I guess like he doesn't think fitness is like a thing anymore. I don't mean to like keep bringing my dad, but I think like that generation, right, was not force fed, but like they were just relying on their doctors. They didn't have good information.
Correct.
There was always like, this is wrong, go to the doctor, get a medication, come back 3 months, right? And that's like the whole system, the in and out. And one thing I'm really proud, I think, of my generation is that like maybe it's just down here in Miami, but hopefully it's the rest of the world. We're very like health conscious. We're very mentally aware of like what we're doing to ourselves. We get together for these community stuff, and I think COVID had a big effect on that, obviously, like just being isolated. Yeah. And that's probably the real reason that like we had so many health issues in the first place.
100%. But
I'm glad we're coming out of it. You can go in Miami any night of the week. There's a run club getting together, people very like-minded like yourself.
Yeah.
So it's great to see like maybe generationally we're changing that a little bit.
100%.
Like where that generation was more reliant. And I don't know if you've seen that trend in your generation as well.
That system is not healthcare. It's called sick care, right? Where they put you on some, pills and then they come back and whatever. They're not incentivized to get you off of that stuff. That's first. I think the big miss in COVID was, hey guys, let's look at the data. And the reason that we had such bad outcomes is that we are obese and we don't take care of ourselves. Let's hit the reset button. Let's exercise. Let's eat right. Let's look what kind of stuff we're eating. What's in that food? What pesticides? What processed foods? And really get after it. And the outcomes are going to be great. Our mental health is going to be better. Our healthcare costs will go down. We're going to live longer. We're going to live healthier. We're going to be happier. On and on. The benefits are through the roof. Instead, what do? We lock everybody down. Said Netflix and chill, and be paranoid. And don't worry, wait for this vaccine that's going to come out and fix everybody. We all know that, if it's so bad, then why is nobody getting the boosters?
Yeah.
This is the nonsense, the cycle. But I do think if there's one benefit that came from it is that young guys like you and a different generation are looking at it and saying, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way, right?
Yeah.
Like how do we get past this?
It's not so much we're just going down that path anymore and relying on that healthcare system. A really good doctor, his name is Dr. Peter Tia. He's a longevity doctor.
I love him,
And I might butcher what he said a little bit, but he mentioned that cardiovascular training, right, for like 2 to 3 times a week can lower your all-cause mortality rate by like 4-fold or 5-fold.
Crazy
right?
number.
And he puts it in a way where he spins it. He's like, if you told someone they could take a pill and they had a 5 times less chance of dying, that pill would be sold out the next day.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
You see the medicines that are on the market now. Like people can't get them because they're weight loss medicines.
Right.
So it's interesting how he frames that, how he does that. And it's just like people just don't understand how low barrier of entry that is, right? Cardiovascular training can be 30 minutes of walking in a day. Man. It could be 10-minute walks every day. You're getting like 60 minutes of cardiovascular training. Like it's such low barrier of entry. And it's tough because like what are we up against? We're up against ease of access, right? Nobody wants to work for it anymore. Like you want food, it's at your door. Yeah. Right? You want
to lose weight, take Ozempic.
Exactly, take Ozempic. But it's like the ease of access has like killed our drive. And I think our generation is like kind of taking a stand for it. Yeah. And they're saying like, we're not going to succumb to these devices. We're not going to, because like that's what the bigger companies want. They want to drive all the traffic to your phone. You buy something, you get it, and you know it's better for them. But I think like us getting out and active and being in our communities as like leaders, you know, I think like you don't even realize kind of people you're inspiring. I think like people that go to work, like they work in an office. Like I'm thinking people outside the fitness industry because you could be a leader as well. Like you go to work, you're in an office all day and you're telling your coworkers about this amazing run club you started or you're in and stuff like that. Like you might spark some inspiration in that person and be like, wow, like I'm going to try running, you know, or, you know, working out, like going to a CrossFit class. You might invite one or two people. Right. And that's a great thing. It's like once it catches, it spreads like wildfire.
100%. It's all this stuff is contagious.
Yeah,
right?
It's a contagious
also,
feeling.
Sitting on your couch and eating Doritos all day is
that's contagious too. Yeah,
going for a run, going for a walk, absolutely.
But usually you do that, you're alone, right? You're in isolation.
100%.
If you're around people
that are active,
right?
you're going to be
around
active.
people who are like-minded, who are active, and you're in like these happy environments. You're seeing other people enjoy it. Like be a little more open-minded to that. I would challenge anybody out there that hasn't done this before. I know it could be scary. I understand like the mindset people are in. Oh, like I don't look as good as them, or like I'm overweight. Like that's another thing that social media has like caused in us, like a lot of insecurity. But I would just say like try it. Like nobody is watching you as much as you think, and like people are more willing to help someone like when they ask. You know, sure. I think a lot of people are like afraid to just go out, give it like those first couple steps. But anyone that's like contemplating or like, you know, is in that situation of like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I'm really, you know, not feeling good about myself right now. Like, you have to just try it. You gotta try it once. Like, put some action behind, you know, the intention, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, half the battle is getting out the door, right?
Exactly.
Half the battle's once you're in the gym, you're like, all right, I'll put in 20 minutes or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay. Important stuff. How do I get jacked? Like, how do I get fucking big?
Oh, you personally?
Yeah, me or anybody.
You got to come train with me.
I got to go train with you or Frankie, our producer. How does Frankie get jacked?
Yeah, that's Frankie. Frankie's got to come. He's got to come to the gym, man. He's got to come to the gym 5 times a week. No, I mean, but jacked is relative, right? I think like for you, like how old are you? You know what I mean?
48.
48, right? Yeah. So how important is it that you get jacked, right?
I mean, I'm half joking, but yeah.
But like, you really got to ask yourself those questions. Like,
right. Well, why is it so important? Right.
Why is it so important? Like maybe for you have kids, right?
I don't.
You have kids.
No.
But like maybe for someone who has kids or is planning on having a family, like maybe like it's not so much being jacked anymore.
Right.
Or like ask yourself, why do you want to be jacked? Like most people want to be jacked. Like I want to go pick up a girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like here's a newsflash. Like not every girl is looking for a jacked, juiced out dude who has like.
Oh, you said juice. I did.
Yeah, like whatever, jacked out dude who is just like, you get a little more conceited when you look better and stuff. So I would just say like jacked is relative. Like work on the inner peace, like your inner love almost.
Yeah.
And like I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter what you look like, because like being healthy and looking healthy is important, but I think any road that branches off from there will be more beneficial to your relationships, you know, your work, your job, like, because I think people they take fitness is a very addictive thing. And sometimes people take fitness to the extreme to where they feel like they're so much better than people because they're in shape. They feel like they have power over people. And it does give you that confidence, right? But I think like with great power comes great responsibility, right? I can easily go around and just like gloat on everybody like, oh, you don't have abs, or like you can't run as fast as I can, but it's just more like you're leading from the front. That's not how you inspire people. That's not how you lead, right? So I'd say, yes, like getting jacked is nice, but I think like it's almost better to just like work on that mental fortitude and that mental like awareness, so to say.
So working out and recovery, what do you recommend typically for recovery for somebody who's active? Call it, I say active, works out 4 days a week, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, recovery is a super important piece of like what I do with my clients and what I like speak of with my clients, because you don't realize that recovery comes into play. Like working out is a stress,
right?
Just like everything else in your life. Like, you know, you miss the bus, it's a stress. Like you're stuck in traffic, it's a stress. So you have to realize that like when you're working out, when you're doing these things to your body, you're driving up your stress, right? And there's a stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol usually raises when you're you know, working out more, you're stressing yourself out more. So what recovery will do is like you need to do recovery activities that lower that cortisol. So like natural things that anybody can get is like sunlight. Sunlight in the morning is like one of the best things you could do to lower cortisol levels. Walking outside, getting fresh air, water, right? Hydration, eating well. Sleep is probably the best natural recurring recovery thing you can do for your body. So those are like
the basics.
Those are like the bare bones basics, right? If you want to get a little more advanced, then like a cold plunge would help, saunas, stretching, of course, massage therapy. But most people, if they don't have access to that, like just sleep really well,
right?
Like get 7-9 hours of sleep a night if you can. Eat extremely well. Get your protein, you know, 0.8 to 1 gram protein per body weight if you really want to get technical.
Yeah.
Get your sunlight. And then like other recovery activities that I incorporate in my own training, is just like meditation, right?
Yeah.
Meditation is a good one. Mindfulness, being off your screen, being off your device, and like social interactions, like connections with your partner, connections with your friends, and like actually listening, like not sitting there on your phone, but like engaging. Like we're looking each other in the face, we're engaging, we're having a conversation, we're not through a screen. So this is stuff that like your brain can kind of like shut off a little bit, and that will, you know, downregulate a little, and you'll eventually start to feel yourself like recover more. So I guess like that was a long-winded answer.
No.
But recovery is a bucket, and you got to fill that bucket.
Right. There's simple stuff. Don't overcomplicate it. There's 5 or 6 things that you can do starting right now. To help you in your recovery. All right. Supplements. Your thoughts on supplements? Yay, nay, and if there are supplements that you like, what do you recommend?
Supplements that's another one that's like very personalized to the individual. But I think one supplement everybody could take is creatine. I think like creatine is one of the most widely research supplements. You know, it's good for brain health, it's good for building muscle, it's good for energy and focus. Creatine, I mean,
what do you 5 grams a day, or what do you
think it's like whatever the recommendation is. I don't really know off the top of my head, but yeah, creatine is probably one of the most widely things you could take. Hydration wise, electrolytes. Here in Miami, it gets freaking hot. Right. So even if you're not, like if you are running, you 1000% should be taking electrolytes. Even if you're not, you know, dab a little like electrolytes, you know, maybe some mineral salt in your water. But I'm sorry, I blanked on the question again.
No, just supplements.
Supplements, that's right. So I was going, and then any other supplements? Like, I mean, those are the simplest ones. I mean, protein powder is an important one.
But you got to check what's in the protein powder.
Check what's in the protein powder.
Processed.
I'm a fan of plant-based. That's usually like cleaner stuff. But you don't have to go crazy and get this like crazy big protein.
You go to GNC and you walk out there with
like don't spend like $1,000 worth a month. Like especially if you're like someone who's like maybe in the gym 3 times a week and you're like in and out, you're traveling and stuff like that. Like supplements ain't gonna help you all that much. It's literally like the 5% that like if you're training for say like for example I'm training for a marathon, right? So I need all that extra stuff because I'm not getting it in my regular diet. So supplements that extra 5 to 10% that like people who are training really hard, like want to perform at a very high level, that's where that comes into play, you know, like, and can actually make a difference.
You train a lot of golfers, don't you?
I train a fair amount of golfers.
Typical training for a golfer, like different than call it a tennis player or an everyday weekend warrior. It's a lot more core, back. What do you typically see?
Core, like I think tennis player could be related to golfers as well, but a lot of anti-rotation work. I think like core wise, like you're always using Like you're always swinging in one motion. And how I think about the human body is like, okay, what muscles are we not using that we kind of got to strengthen in the gym so we don't have an overuse and then we don't eventually run into an injury. So most people say you're a ready golfer, you're overusing everything on the left side of your body, right? So you want to strengthen a lot of things on the right side of your body. One thing with golfers that people don't realize you need a lot of is stability, and specifically like ankle stability and foot stability, right? So it's like you're never hitting from a level playing surface except for on the tee box.
Right.
Your feet are always in grass. They might be in sand.
Good point.
Like one foot might be higher than the other. And having that proper stability is giving you like the proper amount of power to generate from the ground up. Because anything in sports starts at the feet, works your way up through the core, and then you explode. In golf, you don't get really a running start. So like everything you have when your feet are on the ground, that is like what you're using. So the more stable you can be through the feet, through the ankles, the hips, the knees, going up, the stronger and more fluid you can produce a swing. I would say the big thing for golf you hear a lot is like mobility, right? Stretching. Most golfers are like yes, like mobility would improve a lot of things going on in them, but like the right kind, right? And if you're a weekend warrior golfer, maybe just like 2-3 strength training sessions with like 10 to 15 minutes of mobility in between would probably be your ideal like range. Like if you're trying to hit like a target range.
What's your handicap?
I'm still like an 18, 20 handicap. I've been playing. I feel like I'll be sitting there forever until I get like, I have taken a couple lessons, which has helped, but I think it's until I actually get the right club. I'm not playing with the right clubs right now, so it's hard.
It's the club's fault. Sure.
Yeah. I'm going to blame the club. But we're trying to go for 80s this year.
There you go.
We're shooting for 80s this year.
All right. So you, for your business, you're pretty active on social media. Tips for somebody who is, small business owner, that things that have worked for you or things that have not worked for you on social media.
Social media is a tricky one. I mean, you guys probably know better than me, but just dabbling in what I've been doing on my social media for the last couple of years. I just find that authenticity wins. Like,
I agree.
Don't go out there and try to build your brand around what you think will work or what you think like other people like to see. I think like the more human you are, the more normal you are. Like, don't go out like buying things that you're flaunting on Instagram or you don't need to be flexing. I see trainers like pulling up in these $1 million these like, Ferraris.
It's not your car.
And they're like, I'll help you gross like $10,000, $20,000 in a week. And you're just like, that's not really realistic. And honestly, if you want to go that route, like, then go right ahead. But if you want to like truly be like a good coach and like help people, like you kind of like drive that from within. You tell your story, you say how it helped you, how you can help people. Like maybe if you're specializing in something like more specific, like for me, it's like men's peak performance, men's performance and health. Maybe you give them a little bit more information on that, but don't like go out there and try to be somebody else. Just be yourself, be authentic, and do what feels good for you. I think social media is becoming such a game, right? It's such a game. It's a numbers game. How many people can view you? Honestly, just go out and post like what feels right to you. At the end of the day, it takes, you guys are the marketing guys, so like it takes what, like 20 times for something to actually land. Right. So be consistent in your message. So like anytime somebody sees you, like if somebody sees this podcast and I'm talking about mental health, they'll be like, oh, that checks because Joe talks about that stuff, or men's health, he talks about that stuff on all his socials. So be authentic and be consistent in your messaging, like I wouldn't, try to like, don't try to like position yourself.
Yeah, don't be something you're not.
Don't be something you're not. That's
the
easiest thing. Because then you'll get frustrated, you'll just like, when you're living authentically and you're living very genuine, people could see that. People are smart. Like they watch people all day, right? And they can sense that, and you'll feel that, right? You'll feel that imposter syndrome or that insecurity setting in. Like, just post what is organically to you, and you'll grow. Like, eventually you'll grow. It's a game. Like, you can't compete with these larger brands when you're a small business, right? They're pumping thousands of dollars, $100,000 into marketing and stuff like that. So you do what you can as a small business owner because you got to wear many hats anyway. Yeah. So it's hard to be the coach, the marketer, the salesman, the media creation guy. And then you're the guy, sometimes you're behind the camera and then you're in front of the camera and then you're like, so it's hard. So have some grace with yourself and know that it's a slow build to build up there, but consistency and authenticity
always wins. All right. So we're going to be authentic. How much you bench?
Oh man, you're doing that to me right now.
The famous guy question.
I'm in a marathon prep. Right now.
Here we go. It's the clubs and now it's the marathon prep.
I like to pride myself on being like a hybrid athlete. I'm sure you've heard that term.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, I try to keep my numbers up for strength stuff. So like, yeah, it's in like the 225.
All right, that's a good number.
265 range.
Dude,
like
that's a good number.
You know, it depends how many reps we're going for, and if I just did a 14-mile run, but yeah, it's good to have both. You know, I like to be err on the side of both, but it's really hard. Like I'm about 60 days out from running the New York City Marathon. Like I do see my strength start to go down, because you're not strength training as much as you can,
and you're leaning out.
And it's fine. And I know it's only for a short period of time, but as soon as you get back into the weight room, like ask me that question again,
we'll get going.
By December, January, we'll get those numbers up.
Good stuff. All right, we're gonna play a game.
All right,
you ready? Here's the game. I give you a word or a sentence or whatever, and you say, is it bro science or legit? Is it bro science or legit?
Bro science or legit. Okay.
So is the following bro science or legit? Cold plunge.
That's legit.
That's legit.
There's scientific research to prove that. And I mean, I feel the effects, but mentally and physically, like there's been plenty of research methods. Go listen. I don't know if I could plug in another podcast here.
Yeah, plug with it.
Andrew Huberman.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I listen to his stuff. Yeah, he's a big cold plunge.
Yeah.
All right, I think I know the answer to this one. Bro science or legit? Creatine.
Legit. That's legit.
Bro science or legit? 8 glasses of water per day.
I don't want to say that's bro science, but that's like maybe a little more like, not like a fallacy, but you should do more than that. Like 8 glasses of water a day is not hard.
It seems a little light.
Yeah, it's a little light. Yeah. You should do more than that. If you're not drinking 8 glasses of water a day and that's your goal and that's your threshold, do that. But probably don't stop at 8 glasses of water a day. Like especially here in Florida, dude. Like
no. And if you're working out,
you're gonna be drained by the afternoon if you're only drinking 8 glasses of water a day. So I don't know if that we're gonna put a line through that.
We'll put a line. Okay. Bro science or legit? Protein timing of when you consume protein.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna say bro science, but like not an attack of the bro community. Just like whenever you get it in is whenever you get it in. Right?
Whenever you get it in.
Like there's, I don't know off the top of my head, and Lee Norton or Andrew Huberman would probably be a better guy for this. If there's any logistical research, there probably is. Don't quote me on this, but I think like, yeah, if you're eating in a day. I think
I've heard
honestly,
both.
I think like macro over a week, it matters. Like
really?
If you're drastically under your protein goals for a week, you'll start to feel and notice the difference. But you know, just like with exercise, like the days you can do more of it, like do more of it.
Do more of it.
But once you're on that site, I've noticed like I get frustrated at myself when I don't hit my protein goal, and you feel like you're on that cycle playing catch up. You're like, I'm getting deflated. Like, so
all right. Bro science or legit? You have to wait 45 minutes after eating to go swimming.
That's bro science.
Bro science. All right.
I've eaten while swimming before,
and you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Bro science or legit? Muscle confusion.
That is, I'm gonna say legit. Just because you do have to consistently do the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, to the extent that I know it's called concurrent training in like the sciencey terms and in the coaching world. But in terms of concurrent training, if you're doing both at the same time, there's a portion of a window that you don't want to do them too close back to back. Obviously, CrossFit is an exception where you can train endurance and weightlifting in the same session. But usually, if you're trying to improve both qualities, you're better off trying to improve one quality at a time and then the other, right? So I'm gonna say that's pretty legit because you can confuse. It's really not confusing your muscles; you're confusing your brain. Yeah. Because the way it works is like your muscles get the stimulus, your brain sends the reaction back to your muscles to be like, okay, next time we work out, we're stronger, or next time we work out, we can run farther. So you're kind of just more confusing your brain.
Okay. Bro science or legit? Low reps for size, high reps for definition.
That's like a half truth. Like I think yes, low reps for size, but you could build muscle definition with high reps, low reps. You need both. So that's a tricky one. but I'm gonna say bro science.
Okay, bro science. Bro science are legit. Curls for the girls.
Bro science.
Bro science.
All day.
All right, one last one. Bro science are legit. It's okay to skip leg day.
It is not okay to skip leg day. So that's bro science. Would that be bro science? I don't know how to answer
I somehow had to feed to skip leg day. It's never okay.
It's never okay to skip leg day. It's never okay to skip leg day.
How many days a week should I do legs?
It
depends. But if you're pretty active
depends.
and you want some size, let's start with that.
You want some size, probably spending anywhere between 2 and 4 hours a week.
Okay.
Training legs, doing
squats and
like
lunges.
you just mentioned, high reps and low reps.
Yeah.
Doing your leg extensions, doing your heavy squats, your heavy deadlifts, doing your single leg squats, doing a mix of it all and then recovering properly in between, getting your protein in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, don't ever skip legs. Like,
the
shorts are getting shorter nowadays. So
yeah,
it's like if you skip legs, it's going to be very noticeable.
You're gonna look ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Most underrated and most overrated exercise.
Most underrated exercise.
And then what's the most
overrated? Underrated exercise. Oh man, 2 just popped into my head, but I only got to pick one.
No, pick 2 quickly. Let's see.
I'm gonna give you 2.
Yeah,
okay.
go.
One is pull-ups, like underrated. Like if
Totally
if you have a pull-up bar, man, like you can look jacked, you can look ripped,
right.
You can do a ton on a pull-up bar, and just like having good grip strength and having a good like back strength, like is like it's key for longevity. It's it's key for living a good life. But there's another one called the Bulgarian split squat, rear foot elevated split squat. Fantastic exercise.
Really?
I hate it every time.
You're not the only one that says that.
I hate it every time, but it is one of the best like leg developing single leg exercises. I love it for athletes, everyday people. The quickest to me when I coach someone, the quicker I can get them to do that exercise.
Really?
Right? The stronger they're going to get. Like the stronger I see them get, and the more confidence I feel like they have. It's balance, it's stability. I love it for running because it hits everything all at once. Your glutes, your hamstrings.
Yeah.
You can even get a little calf pump in there if you lift your heel up. But yeah, those are 2 underrated. Overrated exercise, the bench press.
Whoa.
There's gonna be mad controversy.
Mad controversy. Why is the bench press
The bench press. The bench press.
I mean, that's a
I should probably say
staple
the
of
squat,
working out.
but the bench press. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like bench pressing, but I'm saying like most people are going into bench pressing and like I feel like 70% of the time they have shoulder pain already.
100%.
And like they're just I don't know, can you hear us on this?
Yeah,
they're just messing up their shoulder more.
Yeah.
And you don't really need it to get a big chest. Like it's a very underutilized like chest isolation. Like it's great for building strength.
Right.
It's great for building strength, but like if you want like juicy looking pecs, you want to get jacked, like go do some like cable flies. Go do some like stuff that's actually going to activate the muscle. I don't think like people understand that exercise selection is such a huge part of like developing and being like a smarter athlete in the gym, like actually taking care of yourself and your body for a long time. You don't need the bench press to do that.
I love it. Monday afternoons, 5 o'clock after work.
Yeah,
all the benches are taken up. Every squat rack empty.
Yeah,
and it's just guys.
That's the day you should do legs.
That's the day you should do legs.
Monday you should do legs.
Yeah. Well,
because nobody's working on the leg machines.
And I love the guys with the big chest and chicken legs.
Yeah.
We have a few of those people at this office that I call them out. I shade them.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
to. Yeah, we have to show them what an athlete actually looks like.
Bulgarian squats.
Yeah.
Joe, where can people find out about you?
So social media, you can follow me on social media, Joe Sigona. You can follow my journey from marathon training on TikTok, Instagram. Find me on LinkedIn. I have a professional Instagram. I'm going to be putting out, online men's health coaching programs soon.
Good.
So I'm working on that, like the Men's Peak Performance Academy, trying to bring men through like, a 3-month transformation, both physically and mentally, but really starting on the mental side of things and future transforming them physically. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about the marathon. So if you guys, I don't know when you guys see this episode, but maybe by then I'm running the marathon or a couple 60 days out here. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with
buddy. I'm real happy for you. Folks, check him out. He's a great performance coach, definitely worth hiring. Second, never forget the Bulgarian squats are an awesome exercise.
There they go.
And bench press is a little overrated.
Overrated. Yeah.
Take care, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Dan. Thank you so much.